Rise. No Kindred. Ban yet.
That's true.
Schalke.
They still can do it. The two big picks for Schalke to ban away, Deficio brought up, were Trundle and Kindred. For Vitality, it was Sejuani already banned away, and Alistar was the next one. Vander has played that in 6 of his games and has found so many roams alongside Amazing. That is how they find their plays and find their picks, but this is a little bit of a change up from Schalke. They ban away 2 of these roaming mid lane. Oh, the Rise and the Galio to take away from Jiizuke.
That's an insta-lock.
Yeah, that's an insta-lock.
That's an insta-lock.
That's an insta-lock.
Holy moly, with Taliyah left, with Nocturne left, Taliyah's going to go over to Vitality alongside the Rakan. What is this draft?
By the way, Kikis plays more than just the Kindred, more than just the Trundle. He's going to bring out the Taliyah now, try and have an early game impact. And we know Vitality, they craft these compositions to be able to run through their opponents in the mid-game. Taliyah is one of those champions that can come online very early, but against this Nocturne, it's an exciting one because for the first 5 levels, Taliyah smashes him. At level 6, once Nocturne has the ability to jump on top of you alongside an Akali, things might get a little spicy.
I mean, I'm already seeing a lot of spice.
Yeah.
There's some hot peppers in this game. Rakan, the combo with Taliyah is so strong. You now have Amazing on the Nocturne looking for that level 6, playing around the Akali, but some weakness in the early game. Vander taking off his Alistar is now on the Braum instead. A similar champion without the big playmaking potential.
Yeah, now I'm expecting Vitality to pick up the Xayah here for Attila. They played this combo before against Fnatic, when Fnatic themselves drafted the Nocturne in the jungle. Now what this means, if you get this duo, not only is it so incredibly strong in that 2 versus 2, but it gives you a lot of protection to the backline assassination potential of an Akali, of a Nocturne. You've seen so far today how powerful that dive onto the backline can be, and if Attila's a little more self-sufficient here on that Xayah, peeling himself with the ultimate, him and the rest of the team are gonna have a much better chance in these engagements.
I'm gonna put something out there.
Put it out.
Top lane Akali.
Ooh.
Because you lock it in this early, you ban the Rise, which we've seen is a good matchup for the Akali. It feels like there's something underfoot. It feels like you can't just pick it and show your hand that early against a team who has Jiizuke, who is so good at those aggressive mid lane matchups.
Now here's the thing, Akali can definitely work in the top lane, but I remember way back when Aatrox came out and it was left open for Schalke. Aatrox, very much a top laner, we assumed it was first picked for them on the blue side. They put it mid lane, they gave it to NukeDuck. They want to let NukeDuck be the carry force behind this team, and while I'm sure they will wait out and see what the actual matchups are gonna be, I got a feeling it's NukeDuck piloting that champion.
I think what you were saying to me is they're inventive, so I'm thinking upset piloting that champion.
That would be wild.
That would be a turn up for the books, especially 8-15 going back towards those more marksman-heavy meta. Rumble ban, Kennen ban here as well.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing for me. Schalke banning away 2 of these top lane split-pushing champions for Cabochard. Now, when I think of Vitality, I don't think 4-1 comp or 1-3-1 comp. I think 5 men in the mid lane, ARAM, we want to fight, 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 and fight. Champion like Gragas fits the bill. If they want to put that up for Cabochard in the top lane to find these engagements, that will be strong. But I'm a little bit worried because it's against a Braum, and having that shield to be able to block the explosive cask and just completely thwart an engagement is a difficult thing for Vitality to go up against.
Yeah, it's always very tough. Works well into the Xayah as well. There's the Ezreal final pick, so it is going to be Akali in the mid lane, and Vitality have left their mid lane counter for the final pick. Jiizuke into NukeDuck. What is Jiizuke going to go for here?
I mean, Jiizuke has played crazy things in the past.
And
this is a guy that's willing, I mean, Zoe, he's willing to play stuff like the Echo in the mid lane. Oh, now here's the thing we didn't even mention. They can still flex picks around. I think this is going to be a mid lane Taliyah, a jungle Gragas, and a top lane Darius. Interesting. I really like this change up here because I think I haven't seen this matchup, the Taliyah against the Akali, but I think she can do really well. She doesn't have any spells where she has to actually select Akali's model,
no
point
and
click. Yeah, you can use all your AoEs to catch her out, find her in her Shroud, and of course, Darius into the Poppy. Not only does that bail the Gragas out of a really tough matchup, but it gives you something that can dominate in that top lane.
See, I was thinking the Darius into Akali matchup, because as soon as she goes into the Shroud, just stand in the middle and spit.
Or pull her right out of it.
Gavin is the perfect counter to Akali.
Spin to win, baby.
Spin to win, spin to win. But Darius in the top lane into that Poppy for Vizicsacsi. He's been very much on tank duty. Undefeated on Poppy this split, though. 3-0, so it's a good sign for Schalke. This game is probably the most... coming into the day, this was the game I was most excited for. And then I watched Misfits against H2.
That was a good one.
And that was a good game. And then I watched G2 against Unicorns of Love, and that was a good game. And then Fnatic against Giants was pretty good as well.
We've had a lot of good games today.
Yeah,
what you're telling me is that this one we
games.
knew was going to be close. After seeing this draft, I'm even more hyped to watch this one play out. My word, Vitality, they're going to be looking for fights, looking for these engagements. While Schalke, again, you have to figure out a way to get this Akali an advantage.
Oh.
Let her dominate the side lanes, but they're up against the doggo. It's just not fair.
You just can't beat the doggo.
It's impossible.
What does
Duck
Schalke
versus
have?
dog.
I mean, they've got some pretty ardent fans right there. You can see, I think that's Upset signature as well. Although I'm not one to speak about bad handwriting, because mine is
You're a doctor.
amongst the worst. Yes. So, you talk about how the Taliyah's grade into the Nocturne early on. We said that was the jungle matchup we talked about. And then they're just like, oh no, we're going to play Gragas into Nocturne early on instead. How does that actually change that sort of farming style that we expected to see from Amazing?
Well, I think Taliyah could definitely punish the Nocturne earlier on. I think Kikis in this game, not going to be looking quite as much for the actual duels up against this Nocturne, but he will search for early game ganks. This is something that we saw actually out of Kikis in the last week of play, where he'll still look for some counter jungling opportunities. That's maybe a little bit more difficult on a pick like the Gragas. But with that Body Slam Flash, you have the instant ability to pick up a First Blood, level 2, level 3, searching for one of these lanes, try and find that kill. And I think that if you can shut down NukeDuck very early on, you absolutely do that. If you can get Cabochard rolling, that's a fantastic place to go as well. It's all about the solo lanes at the start for Vitality.
We kind of had 3 different Akali games across the last few games as well. Last game, it was very much about people roaming and helping out Caps in the mid lane. That's really not going to happen that much this game, you don't think. Braum, not a heavy roamer. Poppy maybe could come down from the top lane, but it's probably going to be pushed in a lot of the time as well. And the G2 game, it was just more about the Varus in the end. Like, Perkz got some good flanks off and went for the split push, but the game didn't revolve around the Akali. Here, we have NukeDuck, one of the main carries for his team. You know, we talk about the year of the duck jokingly, but this year has very much been the year he's put Schalke on his back, and now we see Upset stepping up for the team as well.
Of course, those players stepping up, but this is an interesting game for Schalke, because it doesn't feel like Schalke to me. When I think Schalke, I think Vander on All-Star, I think Amazing on something that can set up plays. On Sejuani, not Nocturne. Now, of course, these champions are very strong. Vander's played 4 games of Braum so far in this split, but they're not going to be able to make those same level of proactive plays, looking for roams with Vander alongside Amazing that we're used to seeing out of this team. That's where I get a little worried, because Vitality are definitely going to be trying to find this early game lead and snowball that into a strong mid-game team fighting combination.
So if Vitality don't find the early game lead, is it just done and dusted? Is Schalke just able to take the win from there, or is there a comeback mechanic for Vitality? Taliyah's always been strong in the late game, and you've always got Xayah as well.
Yeah, no, their late game team fighting is not weak by any means. I actually think they stack up equal, if not even maybe a little bit better against the team of Schalke. Is Amazing, looks for the loop around onto Cabo.
Cabochard down to about half HP. Flash in for the fear. Cabo's still going to get feared at the end of this. The first blood to the top lane. Amazing is the jungler that strikes first.
Amazing says, I don't need Vander to make plays. He goes to the top lane at level 3 on the Nocturne, completely blowing away our expectations, and that's a risky TP from
Taliyah's on his way up, though. They were hoping, perhaps, that Schalke would stay around a little bit too long, because Kikis was on his way, and you could see Jiizuke coming up the river as well. It was a very risky TP, though. First blood pulled out by Schalke. Good early gank from them.
See it one more time. Keep in mind, Amazing flashes immediately onto Cabochard. He wants to land that fear and not give Cabo any time to start running towards his turret to a position where they couldn't actually aim for the dive. And the range on that fear is going to persist even through the flash and lock down the kill there for Schalke.
Difficult start for Vitality, and what's going to be a difficult 4 games left of the split for them. They play Schalke today, then H2K tomorrow. two of their easier games, but then Misfits and G2 in the final weeks as well. Schalke, on the other hand, looking a lot easier. We calculated win-loss, and Schalke actually have the tied easiest win-loss of their opponents of any team. So you added up all the wins of their opponents, added up all the losses, and they're at 22 and 34, which is tied with Fnatic. Vitality, Giants, Splice, and H2K do not look like the toughest opponents.
No, they do not. But Schalke?
They donut.
They donut. I'd love a donut right now. I'm feeling a little hungry, but right now Vitality, they're setting up for this play in the top side of the map. Again, no flash on Vizicsacsi, and there's so much early game damage to dish out by this Taliyah.
Feeling hungry for the kills in the top lane. Jiizuke roaming at level 5. Chachi, no flash, puts the hammer down. Kikis. There's the steadfast presence as well. Jiizuke is the one to tank it up, still tanking. Chachi's still alive for a very long time, but can't survive long enough, and Vitality will answer.
That was very nicely done from Vitality, because again, Vizicsacsi had to use his flash to secure that first blood onto Cabochard, and Kikis, you can see, is pathing the entire time. This play was set up right after that kill occurred onto Cabochard. It felt like you saw them attempt that roam up initially, they backed away, but then you saw Cabochard build up this large minion wave that you know eventually is going to crash into the tower. And the communication calling Jiizuke over to assist with that play meant that they could end up securing that kill onto Chachi, who had no good way to escape from the gank, and Amazing just wasn't quite close enough to be able to react and prevent that from occurring.
Overall, good start for both teams, I think you could say. Schalke getting first blood's fine. Vitality getting a counter kill is good as well. And junglers should be pretty happy. Kikis still on level 4. Amazing's up to that level 5 now, so he'll be looking for the big Nocturne level 6 power spike that you can get. But I think one of the big differences between these two junglers who have performed very well in week 7 was the amount that Kikis actually counter jungles and pressures his opponent. Kikis had the highest counter jungle percentage of any jungler at 19.7%. It's almost 2 times any other jungler. Actually, no one else is in double digits.
Yeah, Kikis so active in the early games, and yes, a lot of it was counter jungling, but a large part of it too was just ganking his lanes. It almost felt like he didn't spend time clearing his own jungle because he was always either invading or ganking mid lane or ganking top lane, getting the rest of his team ahead. Now the game has definitely slowed down for him. There's still time to revisit that top side and try to get Cabochard back even ahead in this matchup up against the Poppy.
I want to talk about the ability to gank at the lanes, though, because we wondered how the Taliyah would match up into the Akali. You said you pontificated on it. You supposed that it would be a good enough matchup for the Taliyah, having never seen it yourself. And it seems like what Jiizuke's doing is just pushing up the wave and then immediately going for these roams.
And that's where I get a little bit worried. You know, yes, he had a roam that worked out. He got the first blood. That's all fine and dandy. But he's not building up a significant CS lead because he's leaving the lane and giving time for NukeDuck to free farm. And we saw in the last game, Akali level 8 just solo killed Ryze 100% HP, and it's like, well, she has a lot of damage in that 1v1, and she was even down 20 CS in that matchup. And yes, of course, Jiizuke does have barriers, still has his flash try and evade a play like that, but it makes you wonder if Akali was that far behind and still can just crush anyone in a 1v1, maybe you should have been focusing more on actively putting NukeDuck behind.
Haven't been doing that as of yet. When a champion can do that sort of thing, I have a specific word I like to use for them. I've used it 3 times already today.
Say it again.
It's Giga broken.
Giga broken.
Giga broken. And that seems to be what Akali is. The fact that after 1 week of practice, people can have mastered her. Think about Zoe. Think about how long it took people to master Zoe. Akali's, that's happened in a week.
Yeah, now I do want to temper that a little bit, because I will say, in solo queue, has not performed that well. Kikis is invading, he missed the body slam though.
Ezreal comes out, they're chasing onto Amazing, pops in with the paranoia, NukeDuck on his way, Chachi there as well, 1 down, but here comes the Akali, Vander TP's in, Jiizuke will get chunked out by NukeDuck, the dash across the wall, shut down, goodbye! Kikis falls as well as Schalke collapse in the jungle.
This time it's Schalke with the globals, the TP swap there.
Giga broken!
From Vander to get on in there, NukeDuck, sure, he can be Giga broken as well. We'll say the start of this invade didn't go as well as Kikis had hoped. He missed the body slam, but they still do get this pick here on to Amazing without trading back, but the communication wasn't there. Cabochard was not walking down into this side of the jungle like he should have been. If a Darius is a part of that fight, it's a completely different landscape. It is a 3 versus 3 after Amazing goes down, and can see with the power he has in the 1v1, just how much vitality we're missing in that last engagement.
NukeDuck on his way towards the top lane, has that red buff for the slow, looking for the 5-point strike here as well. Twilight Shroud dodging around. Cabochard can't line the decimate, flashes to safety, but from Jiizuke being the roamer to NukeDuck being the roamer now, becomes very hard for Vitality to keep track of that mid laner.
Now again, even though Vitality as a team, they want to have an early game lead and snowball and crush their opponents very effectively, I still think that going into the late game, Vitality's team composition is the one better suited, better equipped to go toe-to-toe in a 5 versus 5. Of course, there is the dive potential of NukeDuck and Amazing into a backline, but I don't think that works quite as well for them in a full 5 versus 5 when there's so much disengage on the side of Vitality. They would much rather be splitting up the map, having NukeDuck dominating in a side lane, and using that paranoia to assist him in that effort, as opposed to grouping up and making those fights happen like we know Vitality are always going to be searching.
I know the 5-man mid team. That's what they do. Jactroll actually had some stuff to say. Hey, at Vander LCS, I hope you won't go bald again today because of my pressure. You look better with the hair, so don't tear them out. Vander replied, you die 2v2 versus us every game and still pressure. Impressive.
With that little winky face, I think the winky face sort of brings it all together. There's 3 members of Vitality roamed up towards the top side. With NukeDuck on the flank, though, Jiizuke might be asking for a little bit more than he wanted.
Paranoia onto Jiizuke. There's a blast cone there for him. Knocks himself away, but the jump in from NukeDuck. 5-point strikes enough. NukeDuck and Nocturne combine once again.
Schalke did their homework, man. I'm liking what I see right now because every time Kikis and Jiizuke team up to make a proactive play, like we know they're going to be doing, like it's no surprise here. Kikis looking for early game invades, Jiizuke on another roaming mid laner. Schalke are always there to punish, and it's just going so well for them because every single time Vitality make a move, Schalke get the kill, then turn it into an objective on the other side, and are letting this Akali get to a point where she's going to be super, super giga-broken, deadly, whatever you want to call it, in a side lane.
Let's have a look at exactly how they set this up.
Yeah, I mean, Amazing goes in here, and it's a good attempt at an escape to wait for the blast cone, but NukeDuck is there waiting, going for the flank. It's just an overstay on the side of Vitality. If they were going to go for the dive, you have to commit, but they waited too long and were punished.
I think it's important just to note, in some of these replays, you see NukeDuck jump in with his ultimate, that little dash forward, and above people's health bars, it doesn't say stun, but they are micro-stunned in that time. It's a slightly shorter duration of a stun, they're locked in place, so if you see someone, you're like, why didn't he just walk away? It's because they're stunned in place. It's actually very difficult to escape from Akali if he catches onto you.
Yeah, it's about a 0.5 second CC right there, but while Vitality are trying to make plays happen in the side lane, they do get that top lane turret. Schalke knock down this mid lane one. So important, specifically against the Taliyah. If you can push these waves, not be able to clear them away by a tower. Jactroll, no, this is trouble.
Upset just jumps straight across the wall, but that's the power of Xayah Rakan. Just jump away with the battle dance.
Yeah, of course, Xayah paired with Rakan gives more range when Rakan tries to jump to his allied Xayah than he would with any other ally, so he clears that gigantic wall and escapes what was a really bad-looking situation.
That he does. We haven't talked too much about that bot lane matchup, but it is something we built up on the analyst desk and we've been building up for quite a while. Upset into Attila, the Ezreal into Xayah this game, but across week 7, it was Upset who had the upper hand. 17 KDA, 10 CS up at 15 minutes, 42% of his team's damage. The dude's a beast, the dude's a monster.
He's so good, man. Actually,
so
legitimately, in all of these wins that Schalke have gotten, how they sort of turned their split around after a rough first 3 weeks to the season, Upset has been a big player on this team, stepping up, experimenting with different picks, not just the marksmen, but also the mages, and has looked good for him, but we're in the bot lane. Upset, Attila, they're not quite here, but the rest of Vitality is on the way.
The Dunk Squad comes in. Here's the paranoia. Amazing realizes he doesn't want to be there at all. Flashes away. Jiizuke might still look for this explosive cast from Kikis just to knock him away. NukeDuck's on his way down on a control ward. Vander there as well to push them away. And Jactroll joining up with this fight, has that ultimate if he needs it.
The duration on that paranoia from Amazing actually stopped Vitality from getting the kill, because if Kikis pulled the trigger on the explosive cask a little bit earlier there onto a Vizicsacsi, they get the dive, they get the kill, it all works out. But he didn't even see where that Poppy was, so that's why it was so delayed by him. And another gank, another proactive play is diffused here by Schalke.
And as that plays diffused, the map resets a little bit. I want to talk about the AD carry itemization in this game, because marksman itemization was changed on this patch. Less cost for Infinity Edge Stormrazor Zeal, IE and Stormrazor reduced AD, and also Essence Reaver has attack damage increased. And this is important because we have a crit marksman versus a non-crit marksman.
Exactly. When you look at Ezreal, he's always a champion that, you say, spikes around 2 items, when he stacks up the tier, gets an Iceborne Gauntlet or a Trinity Force, and you use that window to punish. Now, the window in which Upset has that item advantage is significantly reduced. The 3 items, Stormrazor, Infinity Edge, and your Zeal, have been overall taken down by 700 gold. That means if you're just farming, that's 3 minutes worth of minions that you're shaving off that time. That's 3 less minutes where Upset has a significant advantage in terms of itemization that Vitality can try to abuse.
Have to see if they're able to do that. They do like these 5-man shuffles down the mid lane. A 2,000 gold lead still for Schalke here. Broken out that mid lane tower. Still top and bot remaining for them. Vitality only been able to take out the top turret of the map. 15 minutes in, this game is pretty close. I don't really think, even though NukeDuck has got ahead of 1-0-1 on this Akali's finished the Hex at Gunblade, we can give Schalke the game yet, but it's looking promising for them. However, Vitality won't be too worried.
No, they're definitely happy grouping up and finding fights. What they have to be concerned about is leaving Jiizuke alone in a side lane, because someone's going to have to come bot lane eventually and clear away the wave. But you look at how all the vision is set up around this eastern quadrant of the jungle. It's made to allow Amazing to look for a play, to look for a dive alongside NukeDuck. And we've talked a lot about how the Shroud is just so incredibly powerful when it comes to de-aggroing the turrets and making those dives happen. So, gonna have to watch out if you're Jiizuke clearing the tower.
Upset jumps straight across the wall there. He'll use Ignite down as well. The Paranoia jumping on towards that backline. Concussive blows the stun into the stopwatch, but that is a very dead Rakan. Cabochard coming in from the backside as well. Dunk 1, knocked back with the hammer down. Jiizuke uses the Weaver's Wall to split up the fight. Chachi not on the right side of this now, but NukeDuck has joined the fight. 2 down, and Schalke lose 2 as Upset went way too deep. Explosive cast used by Kikis. Chase on NukeDuck here. He's going to get the movement speed from that Scuttlecrat.
I'm telling you, Medic, you don't want to run it down mid against Vitality. They're doing the same thing. They're looking for the same fights as you are, and they come out on top in that skirmish. Of course, Upset jumped over that wall, and the rest of Vitality were there ready to punish.
They're going to get the Clown Drake off the back of that as well. Upset just a little bit too brave. Did escape, but cost his team a couple of kills. The Shuriken flip into the chase. Jiizuke flashes away, but NukeDuck nukes him down. And that's what an Akali can do in the 1v1 matchup. Yeah,
you never want to go into a side lane this game. It is just not fun at all. I think after the last 3 games, and now seeing NukeDuck finding the solo dive under the tower against a flash and a barrier on Attila, we might see some bans tomorrow for this champion.
Really? Ban the Giga Broken champion? I think that might be a good idea. It has to be a red side ban.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, red side might actually have just gotten weaker, because they have to ban Aatrox, they have to ban Akali now, maybe. Man, it becomes so incredibly tough for them. Again, not exactly sure what Upset was thinking jumping over that wall. Initially, it is a good call from Schalke because they are able to catch on to Jactroll, and of course you still get feared even when you use the Zonias. The tether sticks through, but the rest of Vitality is able to find this rotation and pick up a couple of kills, even though this game, it's felt like Vitality have been on the back foot. Now that they're the ones punishing over-aggression from Schalke, they're able to find a minor victory.
A major issue for Vander there. He'd already used his wall, his shield to stop some of the damage coming out earlier, so he couldn't use it to stop the Weaver's Wall from Jiizuke. Want to talk slightly about Jiizuke's build here, because he's gone for the Seraph's Embrace, which is not that common on Taliyah, but works so well into burst assassins.
Yeah, I'm like, usually you go for something like the Luden's Echo for a little bit more damage, a little more wave clear. Jiizuke knows his place in this game, and it is not a good one when you're matched up against NukeDuck in any kind of 1v1, so he needs that shield to sustain. It sort of buys into this idea that while Vitality are more than happy to just fight you at face value, they also want to scale it a little bit more. Let Jiizuke stack up on this Archangels to allow him to have that shield and survive. But you can see they're not going top lane. Even though NukeDuck is up there right now, pushing in waves, Vitality are losing minions, they don't want any part of that. They're still trying to find some form of engagement.
You have to force a fight at some point, though, because otherwise you start just losing too much across the rest of the map. Maybe Jiizuke and Jactroll can team up and be that catalyst for the team. Maybe it's Kikis. We talked so much about how he's had such a strong early game. Well, you got through the early game, you're 3,000 gold behind, you now need to have a strong mid and late game.
Yeah, but for Vitality, they can't look for a fight right now, it doesn't feel like. You look at the itemization coming through, Attila is still just 1.5 items, while Upset has finished those 2 core purchases on him with the Mermana and the Iceborne Gauntlet. Amazing too, has himself a Black Cleaver for a bit more durability and to let him cut down on the tanky front line of Vitality a bit more. So Vitality maybe need a little bit more time. We need to see them slow things down a bit, not get too proactive, and be punished by Schalke.
Tough position to be in if Schalke can put their foot on the gas as they have done in the second half of this summer split. 7-1. Pretty dominant performance from them in their last 8 games. And now at 9-5, they're really challenging for those top spots. I think, to me, if they win this game, you have to start talking about them in the same breath as G2 and Misfits and even Fnatic, maybe, saying, can they go to that buy spot?
Yeah, I already am putting these two teams in that same conversation. The top 5 of the EULCS, I don't know who's the best. Right now, Fnatic feels like they're the best. They've had some good performances recently. If you look at Schalke, they're 7-1 in their last 8 games. They're looking for a playoff bye, and all these teams are just within 1 game of each other. Vitality and Schalke are tied right now. It just goes to show how close and how tense things are at the top of the standings here in the EULCS.
And then we get 3 Akali games in a row.
Yeah, baby.
On the same day.
I love it.
You may be cursed with chrono breaks, but you're blessed with Akali.
So blessed.
I'll take that sacrifice. So you can see both of them tied 4th at the moment. Misfits Fnatic in the first spot. G2 sitting pretty in 3rd, but both Misfits and G2 had weak games today, so that 2nd spot is very much up for the taking. NukeDuck caught out a little bit here, steps forward. There's Attila. Shrew can flip, can jump back if he wants to. Caught out by Kikis, slowed up. There's the Charm as well, the Darius, the Dung Squad, but NukeDuck dodging away. Weaver's Wall will lock him in place, and eventually NukeDuck will fall. It took all 5 members of Vitality, but they do get the kill.
It is possible to kill this champion. Maybe buys a lot of time for the rest of your team, and I'm not sure if trading an inner tower for it is worth, but they have to go to the Baron right now. Vitality know the strongest member of Schalke is down for the count. It's a 5v4 in the pit.
Still got 2 item Ezreal, Braum there with the ult as well. Vitality taking it down so quickly. 4,000 HP. Here's Upset. Amazing. Could look for the steal as well. No vision.
Oh, Kikis gone!
A double knockback once again from Chachi. He did it against H2K. He does it against Vitality, and he saves his team the Baron.
Oh my word, Vitality had the play, had everything set up perfectly. But Chachi says, no, you're not getting the win, not today. Once again on the pop, he sends 2 members out of the pit and keeps Schalke in this one.
I saw him do it against H2K to win Schalke the game.
Same.
Now he does it once again against Vitality. Banshee's Veil 2nd on NukeDuck here, trying to give himself a little bit of protection. And across the board, those 2nd items are starting to come out. Vitality will think that they can fight soon. Flash up on Jactroll, looking for that ultimate, the quickness as well. He's one of the key engage tools for Vitality.
But again, for Vitality, items-wise, I don't think they should take a fight right now. Look for
When
picks.
are they going to be able to take a fight, Ender? You keep saying they can't take a fight. You gotta go.
I'm waiting for Infinity Edge on Attila. Okay. That's when he's going to destroy Chachi in the front line and do a ton of damage. Because right now, again, it feels so difficult for them. The last play they did, perfect. Find the pick in the side lane, then have that advantageous numbers fight where you have the 5v4, have a 4v3, something along those lines. But actually forcing around an objective is going to be so risky for them if they don't have that advantage.
Wave pushing in the bottom lane here. Vitality trying to force around this Baron. NukeDuck steps forward, but with the Banshees keeps himself safe, just backs away. Lots of pings coming down towards the mid lane as well from both teams. It looks like with a 5,000 gold lead, Schalke very much happy just to let Vitality try and make these bait pushes happen because they're not working at the moment. I just know that Vitality are impatient. I know they like to force the fights. I know they like to go for these 5v5. So every time you see Jactroll step forward, every time you see Cabochard edge closer towards Schalke, you feel a fight is imminent.
Yeah, they're always looking to press that go button, but right now they have to keep in mind their side lanes because there's a massive minion wave building up top lane that they're all scared to go for. Here we go.
Paranoia comes out, Chachi knocked into the wall. That's a dead jungler. Teleport comes in as well from Vitality. But Cabochard, not in the best of spots here. Jiizuke might be able to get the damage down. The jump in from NukeDuck. Already another kill for Upset, and Vitality just forced away. Perfect positioning from Schalke.
Schalke, I'm surprised they're not immediately moving over towards this Baron. Amazing walked up. The rest of the team now will be starting up that objective. Kikis is down. That means no chance, realistically, for a steal here outside of a miracle from Jiizuke. Still,
Jactroll's got it.
This Baron takes a long time to go down, but not going to be a chance for Vitality.
8,000 HP left on it. Should be an easy enough secure for Schalke, looking to round out these last 9 games with another win. Jiizuke there, Attila coming in as well. Jactroll has the quickness and the flash, looking for the engage straight onto the back line. 2,000 HP on the Baron. Schalke trying to do what they can. Attila gets some damage in from the side as well, but the Baron down to 1,000 HP.
Here comes Kikis! Here comes Kikis!
The steal is real. The knockdown's dead. How did you miss it, Kikis? Schalke somehow still secure it. And once again, it's the top lane god. It's Chachi who says that's mine today and takes down the Baron.
Now Schalke, they're being chased down by the rest of Vitality. Cabochard trying to find Upset, very low on mana. NukeDuck on the chase as well. Here come Vitality.
Oh, NukeDuck, you have to dodge around. Someone has to survive here. Upset's the first to fall. NukeDuck goes into the Twilight Shroud, dodges back into it, misses everything. Upset's still alive. Cabochard there. NukeDuck, what are you going to do? The teleport. Upset's down. They can't turn this at all. They're dead. They're done for. Kikis falls as well to the Ignite. But Schalke get the Baron, they hold it off in Vitality, which is all they could have hoped for.
And Vander survives. He ran away from the rest of the team, stand behind Braum. No, forget all that. He got out of this pit, but look at this. The turn comes in. It takes so long for this Baron to go down, and you have Attila on the bottom side of this fight, untouched, because right now Schalke are debating how do you get in the pit, and then Kikis doesn't have a jungler to go against. 59 HP on the Baron. You can't miss that in that situation. A huge mistake, detrimental here for Vitality as they lose the Baron and still allow one of those buffs to escape.
Supports, man, they're just too good.
Really? That's what this is about?
Oh, like what a point in the game, though. If you're Kikis, you're kicking yourself. And if you're Chachi, you're saying, okay, guys, look, I put you on my back twice this game. I can't do it again. You need to step up to the plate. 3 items now finished on Upset. 3 items on their way for NukeDuck. He's going Lich Bane next for the full-on burst. Cloud Drake started by Vitality. They'll get that. No worries about it at all. But this 1-3-1 from Schalke, they're 6,000 gold ahead, and I'm yet to really believe that they're able to close this game out.
I'm very skeptical right now. They do have the 1 Baron buff, but it doesn't feel like they're going to be able to get much off of that. Right now, Vitality, they can just find a grouped up fight. The Infinity Edge is so close.
There we are, it's there.
For Attila. There it is.
Infinity, Zeeks. That is so much power on Attila. You have to watch him in this next fight. Jiizuke is doing a good job as well. Cabochard 4-2 on this Darius with the Sterex and the Trinity Force. There are so many damage dealers on the side of Vitality. And you look at Schalke, amazing. Yeah, he's got some damage. Black Cleaver, GA. But it's NukeDuck and Upset who are your pure damage sources for that lineup.
It really, it feels, it's so tense.
So tense.
Because it's the divers of Schalke versus the carry threats of Vitality. It's NukeDuck and Amazing. Can they dive in? Can they burst Attila? Can they eliminate Jiizuke from the fight? If yes, check that off, go ahead, win the fight, win the game. If not, then it's gonna be so hard and you have to look towards Upset and his positioning. Try and pull ahead in these fights.
Seeing what you can do on Ezreal from Reckless earlier on today. Jactroll jumping in here, no flash for him. Twilight Shroud used. Kikis engaging onto Amazing. There's the explosive cast. Paranoia comes out as well. You can't see me, he says Amazing as he jumps in. NukeDuck looking for the flank here as well. That's one down. Cabochard shut down. Upset in the back of the fight. He's raining down hell upon Vitality. No hammer shot back. Vitality are able to take one in response, and Schalke have to reset. Oh, these fights, what is even going on?
Vitality, they got the GA off of Amazing. That is a massive win for them. Super long cooldown on that passive, and of course they traded 1 for 1 on the other side, so overall it is a net gain for them. Mid lane turret should be able to go down in their favor as well as we get closer and closer to this reality that is going to hit Schalke in the face. It's going to come down to a team fight that they're just not as well equipped to go into it as.
The inferior team fighting team, Schalke, against Vitality, who have this team comp. It's all about the team fight, all about the 5-man alpha squad. Let's have another look at this fight, because Amazing is just mispositioned. Yep,
steps a little bit too far forward. Kikis pulls the trigger immediately. The rest of Vitality, they're all 5 members in this area, and NukeDuck dives into the backline, trying to find that hero engagement, burns out to Ignite on the other side, and the rest of the teams just back away, gentleman's agreement. We're not going to take any more risks in this fight, because even though I say on paper Vitality have the stronger team fight, the outplay potential of an Akali and an Ezreal is there. If you can't catch those members out, if you can't take them down, Schalke can beat you out by just dodging all your spells and hitting you with all theirs.
I know, it definitely usually helps.
But I mean,
you hit someone with all your spells,
man, it's an Ezreal. He's shooting the mystic shots. He's got the mobility. You love those sound effects today, don't you, Medic?
Flash ult from Jactroll. You're like, at this point in the game, as a Rakan main, I'm just like, watch the Rakan all the time, because he's going to try and engage Chachi. Flashes
Would you have missed
away.
that?
I would have, because I'm worse than Jactroll.
That's
However,
confirm.
I also probably wouldn't have tried to engage on Chachi, because you can't trust your solo queue teammates to follow up and
true.
engage on a tank.
This is pro play though in Vitality. They're a 5-man unit, constantly searching for the engagements.
NukeDuck's up in that top lane, though. They can't deal with him in the split push. That's exactly what Schalke want to do, just push up. They know they don't have the ultimate on Jactroll, so NukeDuck should be able to get away from this.
Yeah, and the only 2 ways for Vitality to really start a fight is Jactroll engaging with the ultimate, or Kikis and that explosive cask. Those are the best ways for them to find an engagement. And there are a few flashless targets on the side of Schalke. Chachi, NukeDuck, Vander can all be exploited if Vitality find the engagement, but it's difficult whenever any of those spells are on cooldown.
Take a breath. Take a moment. Move back from the edge of your seat, because in 50 seconds, the Baron is back up, and that's when we're going to get a little bit of tension, a little bit intense. We're going to go camping. It's intense.
Oh, yeah? Wow.
Just diffuse the mood with a good pun, you know? Do you have a good pun? Because that one was...
No, I'm done. I'm out. I'm out of this one. Vitality.
Okay.
Versus Schalke.
Okay.
Around
I'm glad
Baron.
32 minutes into the game you've realized
I figured out who's playing. Okay. But remember the last time these teams came around this objective, Amazing died.
Yes.
Kikis missed the smite on the Baron, and there was chaos in the pit.
And the time before that, Vitality started up, and Chachi was like, excuse me, hammer down, knocked them out. So we know we're going to have action around the Baron when it starts up. 5 seconds, vision control, slightly in favor of Vitality at the moment, but Cabochard's down towards the bottom side of the map, has the teleport to join the fight. That tower's low. And now it becomes a waiting game for Schalke.
And no one wants to go into the lane with NukeDuck. It's actually hilarious because the second Jiizuke shows up, NukeDuck's gonna look for the dive. He's 2 levels up because he's been in a side lane and no one's ever matched him. He's gotten so much experience and that makes him so deadly now that he has that Lich Bane as well for just the most burst damage possible.
Here we go. Start up the tower. The Lich Bane works so well on split push as well because you just proc the Sheen or proc the Lich Bane, get the tower. Tower fell in the bot lane as well from Cabochard, so was a 1-for-1 trade. In fact, Cabochard's going to get 2 out of this. So technically in favor of Vitality. 5,000 gold the difference between these 2 teams, but it's beginning to mean less and less. It's only 10% of each team's gold total now.
Now, Schalke have control over this entire top area of the map. They're grabbing the Scuttle Crab, have a ton of control wards to deny vision from Vitality. But this ward that Vander is stepping over is so crucial for Vitality. They know Baron's not being started up, and they can find the engage.
Jactroll with the engage onto Vander. Shouldn't go all in on this, just pops the blast cone. Vander actually takes less damage than Attila did from one Mystic shot, so an effective trade for Schalke.
Now, Vitality have two options. They can go into this Baron area, clear away all these control wards, put down their own vision, which is what they're going to do, or they could look for the objective. They're not going for the objective. They're not going for the Mountain Drake. They know vision around this Baron is paramount to this game, and with NukeDuck on the flank, he might be gearing up for a fight.
Oh, Jiizuke and Attila in the perfect situation. The paranoia, the darkness, the jump in from NukeDuck, straight onto the backline, into the Twilight Shroud as well. He says, you can't see me, but I'm going to 5-point strike your face. Takes out one. Cabochard the next to fall as well. This is a superlative fight from Schalke 04 with the perfect flank to start it
was
off.
the flank from NukeDuck, finding that micro stun onto Attila. He did not react in time, and well, Kikis does have his life. He's still alive. He still has the chance to go into the pit and look for a steal, but that smite is not quite off of cooldown just yet.
No keeper's verdict here for Chachi. He's going to take a lot of poke from Jiizuke and Kikis. The Weaver's Wall is up as well, but I think Vitality have decided to give this one up. The Baron is going to go across towards Schalke. 35 minutes in. They secure their second Baron of the game. Hopefully this one is a little more fruitful.
It lets you show just how powerful vision is. Well, Vitality are trying to get their own in the river. They don't have any behind them. NukeDuck finds flank, finds that tiny stun to stop or get the damage down before Attila goes untargetable. And then once you're at this point, there's no DPS coming out from that triple item AD carry on the side of Vitality. The rest of Schalke can just throw themselves into the fight and take the win.
Vitality do get the Mountain Drake off at the back of that as well, though. So they are sitting at 3 dragons. Next is an Elder for them. I want to see how much Schalke can do with this Baron buff. Because if they don't break through the inhibitor line, I just do not think it's worth it all to give the extra dragon across to Vitality.
I think that Schalke are going to be able to do a lot with this Baron. You put NukeDuck in a side lane with that Baron buff, you're going to be trying to crack open these inhibitor towers. What you have to look out for is the hard engage of Vitality, and that's where I think Schalke are very well equipped to disengage. You have the Braum ultimate, you have the Unbreakable to be able to block the explosive cask coming out from Kikis, and then Ezreal is just all around very hard to lock down. So if Schalke play their cards right, don't overextend when Vitality want to punish you before the minions crash into the turrets, they should be very well off, because as you can see, right now NukeDuck is taking that wave up into the top lane, trying to make it so Vitality cannot just step up mid and look for a fight.
And with the cannon minion there as well, it'll be pretty easy for him to take out that tower. Chachi's down towards the bottom side, that 1-3-1, very much online for them, and Vitality just need to find a pick somewhere. They need to shut down one member of Schalke to break this 1-3-1, because otherwise it's going to slowly eke the life out of their base.
The minion waves, it's all about timing them to crash at the same time, to hit the turrets, so that Vitality have to spread all their members across all these different lanes. Vitality know they can't defend this inner turret in the bottom lane. If they're going to hold the line, if they're going to stand their ground and look for a fight, it's around one of these inhibitors. Then that raises the question, can Schalke actually step up and hit onto an inhibitor? And that's where it becomes a lot more difficult, because their only carry from range that can walk up an auto is going to be Upset. And he's one of the more lower ranged marksmen with his actual auto attack, so knocking down these turrets is going to be a bit of a challenge, but not if you're NukeDuck.
As Schalke starts to push towards these inhibitor towers, they got a lot of damage down towards this bottom one. It's already gone. Thought it was going to be a challenge, but it wasn't a challenge at all.
Well, here's the thing. NukeDuck brought 2 or 3 members of Vitality up to the top lane. That meant no one was here to defend, and now the base is in utter shambles. Vitality are going to have to go for a fight or risk losing multiple inhibitors.
Schalke using Nocturne in the mid lane as well, which means that he can join the fight on either front if it happens. Jactroll in the position for a flank here. Flash ult is up, but they have to pull the trigger. They have to do something. They're losing inhibitor in the top side. It looks like Jiizuke and Cabochard up there to clear that out, but upset Chachi and Vander down towards this bottom side for Schalke are just going to be able to take this in here. You can see tentative around Jactroll. There we go. Glacial Fisher misses. Jactroll jumps in, but only onto one. Chachi caught out, knocked back. Chachi saved by Kikis, the savior who came in and took Vitality to 4-0, just cost them the fight in the bottom side. NukeDuck's on the Nexus towers, the second inhibitor's gonna fall. Nocturne's in the mid lane. This should be all 3 for Schalke.
And all the ultimates from Vitality are down. How do they engage a fight? How do they make something happen? It just isn't there for them. They have to throw their bodies into the fray if they're gonna find it against Schalke.
Chachi flashes away. Cabochard has the flank with the TP. That's exactly what you need. You need something. The knockback. NukeDuck on the back line, but he's still alive. Attila down. Upset. Gets one. Takes out his fellow AD carrier. Now jumping forward onto Cabochard. The exhaust into the fear. Upset still on that front line. No one could challenge him anymore. Cabo gets the dunk, but Vander is gonna help his team get the kill. NukeDuck gets it. Chachi in here with a flank now. Looking for the knockback. The hammer shot. Kikis joins the fight. Schalke should settle for 3 inhibitors here. They can reset. They can come back to fight another day, but it looks like Vitality's day is soon to be done.
Schalke got everything they could possibly ask for. Vitality just slow to pull the trigger, and another cask not finding its mark. Wait a second, Amazing might be looking for the re-engage.
The darkness comes out, the jump in. NukeDuck looking to follow it up just on the Nexus towers. GA popped, Upset. Backed to teleport back into the fight. That's what an AD carry can do now. One Nexus tower down.
10 seconds on Attila.
Vitality coming back up alive. 10 seconds as you say. Kikis there. Jactroll. It's on Jiizuke. The trigger. The knock up. Jiizuke, you need to get into the midst of the action, but the QSS gets upset away, and one Nexus tower stands between Schalke and a place at the top of the EU LCS.
Oh, and you can just see they taste it. They want it. They're diving towers. Even though the rest of Vitality is respawning, we get another look at this fight. It's a flank TP from Cabochard because Vitality know they must force the fight, but it is just too late. Chachi is able to disengage a little bit with a couple of members knocked away from the rest of Vitality, and that leaves Attila without a front line. He gets taken down almost immediately, and again, once Attila falls, the team fight is gone from Vitality. There's just nothing they can really do back apart from one trade kill there from Cabochard.
Upset actually just runs out of mana in this final fight. Just hasn't quite got the second tier fully stacked. So.
And I have to remind you that when we saw that initial engage attempt from Vitality around that bottom lane inhibitor, the Kikis ult knocked everyone away. But that's because Vander had the Braum. Vitality opted into this matchup that was donated.
I know. I always love watching like the downtown ults.
Yeah, but you have to remember that this option was taken by Vitality. They played the Gragas into the Braum, and it went so wrong for them because of that counter.
Definitely did. Schalke will be licking their lips, looking at that Nexus and looking at the rest of their schedule as well. Kikis is on the flank here. Vitality, Giants, Splice, and H2K left for Schalke. This is probably the hardest match they have left this split. They're looking to take down Vitality here. They will be 8-1 in their last 9 games.
It would be absolutely incredible. And here's the thing. Just a second ago, we saw them diving onto Nexus towers. Now they see 2 mega uber objectives spawning up. The Elder Drake, they don't have any elementals to buff it up, but it's going to be
still
a
mega
little
uber
bit extra with a Baron buff spawning in 20 seconds that is not contestable for Vitality. They have to stay in their base, otherwise super minions are going to destroy it. Schalke are looking at 10-5 in the EU LCS, one step closer to making it into the top 2 for a bye through the playoffs, through the quarterfinals of the playoffs.
Not through the entire
Just say they go to Worlds, baby.
Yeah. Let's go, let's go. But that would be the pure culmination of this Schalke building process that we've seen. You know, we always talk in spring about their support staff, about how much work they were doing as an organization, and it never came to fruition, and now it finally seems to be working out for them.
They brought in Amazing at the start of this split. They knew they had shot calling issues. They needed someone that would make the calls, go in. Well, Nocturne, there's not much of a better champion. He presses R button, he throws his body into the fights to make things happen, and the other guy we mentioned at the start of the day, Upset, look at this performance, the damage he's been able to output so far in this match. This is why, this is one of the big reasons why Schalke have turned it around and are going on such an impressive run on the back half of the split.
And Vitality, on the other hand, licking their wounds at the moment. Last week when they beat Fnatic, we thought maybe we'd seen the vitality of Spring come back, the Jiizuke on the rise, you know, really a player that could carry, and that's what he's looking to do in this final fight, but they're already backing away. The paranoia comes out. NukeDuck, he's on the Nexus tower. He doesn't care about your fight. He cares about the win, and he's going for it. Twilight Shroud used to keep him alive for the moment. Vitality trying to collapse on him, but NukeDuck flashes away and gets himself to safety. Now Kikis in the front line. NukeDuck jumps back in. Half of Attila's health is gone in a second. The final fight for Vitality. NukeDuck down, but Amazing's on the Nexus. Vitality, 4 members left alive. You have to kill Upset because he's going for your Nexus. He's going for the win. And that's exactly what Schalke do. 8-1 in their last 9 games, taking their spot, tied with G2 in 3rd place.
Impressive stuff out of this squad. Doubt along the way, but in their last 9 matches, they have erased completely any negative thoughts of this team. They found win after win after win. The hype train is real. Year of the Duck? No, not anymore. It is Year of Schalke. Upset, amazing. Every single player on this squad stepping up to get them these wins.
Incredible stuff from Schalke. They lock their spot in playoffs. Vitality still locked in tiebreakers. Have to remember that, like, they're not out of playoffs, they're still at least in a tiebreaker for it, but would have wanted to take a win off their closest rivals. We did actually see Yamato Cannon actually just going up to Kikis after this game, giving him a hug. You can see Jiizuke doing the same thing. Kikis obviously puts a lot of that game on himself, will be disappointed with the loss, but Schalke, on the other hand, will be overjoyed with the way they played that. After the first pick Akali, we thought it was brave, but it worked out no end.
Oh man, I'm telling you, man, there's going to be bans, red side bans, to get this Akali out of the hands of our mid laners here in the ULCS, because all 3 we've seen, Caps, Perks, now NukeDuck, have just solo carried the games on them. Yes, there's players around them really stepping up, but you saw how much pressure he exerted in a side lane, diving onto Jiizuke, getting tower after tower after tower. No one could match him. And yeah, the man's good, but the champion is too.
Yeah, the champion is pretty good at the moment. Got to give credit to NukeDuck, got to give credit to Deficio as well, the champion of the year of the Duck. A man who continuously tells me how amazing he is and how good he is at predictions. It's a shame that he's... Oh no, he's now tied with VODS.
Oh yeah, he's not right.
Oh, he's tied with VODS now. It's a shame, but look at this. 40,000 damage from your Ezreal. This is a deceptive number, right? From the Akali. 17.1 thousand doesn't look like a lot. But if we added in objective damage and tower damage...
That'd be a big number, baby.
Even adapting his build to make sure he could get towers quicker, that was exactly what NukeDuck needed to do. And I'm happy to see these other playstyles from him as well. Not just going for the traditional playstyle we see out of Schalke. He actually got 3 towers by himself that game. Most towers of any player in the game.
Yeah, he was always in the side lane making things happen, and it gives you more faith here as a Schalke fan. We look a lot at the Sejuani for amazing and the All-Star for Vander and say, well, when they have those champions, that's when they find success. That's what they're comfortable playing with. But no, they locked in a Nocturne for amazing, said he's not afraid to play a carry champion. Vander on something that's not going to be quite as good at roaming, but they still made all the plays and punished every single play that Vitality tried to make.
He did. We're actually going to be joined by Upset in a few minutes in tonight's EU LCS post-game lobby, so make sure you stay tuned for that. For our final game of the day, though, it's NukeDuck, Vizicsacsi, and Upset who are fighting for your player of the game vote. So use your vote wisely. Head on over to @lolesports on Twitter. I feel like every time I talk about player of the game, I ask you, who's player of the game?
I want to ask you, who's player
caster of the game for you?
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, Deficio predicted...
Yeah, we'll go with Deficio to get some more insight on Schalke's win, his lore with their mid laner.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm here with NukeDuck, so I'm going to give you this NukeDuck hype train ticket that Mr. Linger made for you, because obviously you deserve this. You just locked into playoff. How do you feel about this?
Yeah, I mean, we feel really happy about the win. You know, we were expecting to go to playoffs anyway, so it's more... beating, you know, Vitality is really important because we want to go for the top 2 or top 1, you know.
How did you prepare going up against Vitality today?
We just know how they play, kind of, and just banned out, like, you know, the Galio and the Ryze, these main roamers. I mean, still got this Taliyah, but we kind of know they want to, you know, play top side early, so we knew what they were going to do in the game, pretty much.
Would you say they have a readable play style, like it's easy to go against them?
Yeah, I mean, every team, I think, has like quite a readable play style, but yeah, Vitality as well, yeah.
So what would you say is Schalke 04's playstyle right now? Because you evolved a lot.
It's hard to say, but I actually don't want to reveal too much. But I think if you watch our games, we played quite similar every game too.
Okay, we'll keep that for later. Now, you just locked in playoff as long as Misfits, Fnatic and G2 today. Who do you think will make it to playoff yet?
Giants lost today, right? So
Yeah, they did.
yeah, it got to be Splice, I think. Splice and everyone else that has 9 or 10 wins.
Now, a bit more about the game, because you just went with Akali. It was the third time today, and I think she won all of her games. So what do you think about the champion since she got reworked?
You know, Riot and reworking champs, it tends to be, on the stronger side when they rework something. So I think the same is true for Akali.
And do you think she will become a must-ban champion in the weeks to come? Because she seems really OP though.
Yeah, she might be. I mean, she definitely has like some bad lane matchups and all. So it might not be like a permaban, but it's definitely going to be like a pick people are going to play.
All right, well, thank you for your insights, and we'll see how this will develop across the weeks. Now we can toss to PGL for the end of the day.